For years, I've been promising to myself, promising to my friend Wade Zarlingo, and promising to you, the audience, that I would get to southern Arizona to hunt Coues/Coues whitetail and javelina. But I didn't want to come here just to hunt those two. I wanted to mix in some quail hunting, Mearns quail specifically. I'd never shot a Mearns quail, and anything else that my license is good for. So I'm thinking, how am I going to fit this all in 6 days of hunting? When I came here, one of the things I'd been told is that the only way you're gonna kill a Coues whitetail is you're gonna have to sit water. Well, I get that, but I just don't have I'm not a guy who can sit water. I just can't. And for those of you who have the patience and somehow have the mental fortitude to sit over water, I admire you. I wish I could do it, because I know you're gonna fill more tags than I am. But I'm just not there. Well, this morning I was in Bozeman, Montana. It was 1 below zero when I parked my truck at the airport. And now I'm standing in southern Arizona, looking that way into old Mexico, hoping I can find, well, here's what I have tags for. Javelina. My deer tag is good for a mule deer or a Coues deer. I can hunt ducks, quail, doves. I mean, there's stuff running around out here. I don't even know what half of it is, I don't think. You're gonna see some people in and out of this hunt that are the normal cast of characters you've seen on our show. My Uncle Larry was able to come down for a couple days. You've seen my Uncle Larry on many of our episodes. My buddy Jerry Pritchard, he was able to come down. He's been on, I think, 5 or 6 episodes. One of the new people that you're gonna see in this episode, Wade Zarlingo. He works for Arizona Game and Fish, but mostly he's just a long-time friend who's helped us on many hunts, who just likes to come and hang out and have a good time. And the fact that Wade promised me I would shoot my first Mearns quail is a pretty good enticement to come here. Those who watch me when I elk hunt, you know that I look for places without roads. There are no roads anywhere out in that country. That's why we picked this big spot here. The first full day of hunting, we went out to this spot, and to me, having never hunted here, it struck me as, boy, this is pretty desolate. There's all the north-facing ridges have lots of oaks. All of the south-facing hills have mostly cactus and yucca and other stuff. And the ridges have a lot of just tall grass. I'm like, what would live here? Well, it didn't take me very long to find out. He's this big.
Oh, from here?
Yeah. No, he's big. It's big. I know that's a long ways away, but I could see full antlers from here. I don't know how many deer we saw that morning. A lot. But there was one pretty nice 4-point that he was chasing this doe. Not chasing her hard, but enough that you could tell he was paying attention to her. Finally, he went and bedded down with this doe. He's on the downhill side, the doe's on the just uphill from him. And I looked at that through the spotting scope and I said, you know what? I think I can get close to that. Out there you see some rocks. That buck is just upwind about 250 yards from that rock face. I'm hoping the wind stays the same direction. When I get down to the bottom, I'm gonna try my best to see what the wind is doing in that bigger drainage. If it's coming this way. Then I'm gonna go up, come across.
Leupold's Fresh Tracks with Randy Newberg is brought to you by Leupold Optics, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Southeast Montana Tourism. Visit Southeast Montana. Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls. We call the game. Kenetrek boots for the trail less traveled. And by Go Hunt Insider, changing how hunts are found.
Now that I marked exactly where he is, I'm just keeping an eye on the top of the tree that he's bedded under. And there's a few little rolls, enough that we could stay out of his sight. But it's nothing but rock and dried grass and cactus and everything that you step on is like, may as well just bang a bunch of pots and pans together. Pretty soon I look and I range the top of the tree and it's like 48 yards. I'm like, okay, we are close. And so I stand up and peek over the grass. Sure enough, he's there. And I start moving forward. And I get to, I think I was at 34 yards. And I look up to the left and there's that doe. She just turns and looks at me with her big ears like, I see you. I'm not sure what you are, but I see you or I hear you. So I just had to stop. And I stopped. And I waited. And I waited. I had to wait so long. I was getting sunburn on the back of my neck, so I turned my hat around just to protect my neck. And I don't know how long the footage went. It rolled for a long time. If he just stands up, does his thing, goes over and checks the doe. If he walks uphill to the left and checks that doe, I got 30 yards and I'm gonna shoot this buck. The only direction that isn't gonna give me a shot is if he goes straight away, because he's got these limbs. And those of you who hunt and observe animals, you know when they start rocking, they're getting ready to get up. And I could see him moving his head like this, and I start coming to full draw, and as I come to full draw, he stands up and he doesn't really even look at me. He looks kind of downhill and a little bit away, and he stands up and just instantly starts walking, not fast, just that sixth sense that they have of something isn't right. I'm grunting and whistling, I'm doing anything I can to get him to stop, but he's like, no, I just don't think something's right. And he walks, kind of trots a little bit and walks over the ridge, out of sight. When he's quartering away and stood up, you can see that overhanging limb right there. Should have shot it right in the 34 yards. I'm still at a loss for how that damn thing knew that I was there. I don't know. But I can tell you this. When you spot and stalk Coues whitetail, it becomes addiction. It becomes so exhilarating. It's so visual. It's every sense you have. You're taking all of this information of the wind and the noise and the sun angle and what the animal's doing, and you're having to make these decisions and interpret it and say, all right, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. It's just this continual process of mental stimulation and challenge, and it is so damn fun. I know a lot of you are gonna laugh at this, but one day we go driving by this stock pond, and I wasn't even paying any attention. Ducks aren't on my mind, even though I've got my duck stamp, I've got my Arizona hip stamp, I've got everything necessary. Well, Wade pulls up behind me, he's like, why didn't you stop back there? There's a bunch of ducks. I'm like, yeah? He's like, well, let's go get them. Yeah, let's go get them. So we left Jerry and Larry there to spot while Wade and I circle back. And I know you guys are gonna think, what? Duck hunting in Arizona, hey, I shot a widgeon right here in southern Arizona, a mile from Mexico. Peek over the lip, they flush out, boom, boom, down he goes. I mean, you talk about opportunity. These guys, the night before, had come back with a whole bag full of Mearns quail. Now we got a duck to go with it. At least we got something to eat, because my talent at the deer and the javelina isn't feeding us. But I think me shooting that duck is probably as surprising to you as it is to me. But it also shows just the whole array of activity that you have here, the opportunity for everything. And there's so much public land. We had a person from Arizona Game and Fish, Al Iden, came.
In the state of Arizona, we have a bunch of landlocked state and federal land, like a bunch. So the department has been investing money for a long time into what's called an access program. The primary goal of that is to build relationships with landowners so that they keep access open. Part of that is providing some funding to them to manage the impacts of recreational use. And so over the years, we've been able to open up around 2 million acres of landlocked state and federal land. So then, recently, the Farm Bill has got a new program called the Voluntary Public Access and Habitat Improvement Program. And that program, Arizona has been lucky enough to get a grant for that. We got $2 million, over $2 million from that grant. And what's happened with that grant is instead of opening up 2 million acres, we've opened up 4.5 million acres. So the program is really working here in Arizona. And again, it's a program that we work with the rancher or the landowner to say, this is an important access route for us. It's awesome.
And hunters, bird watchers, the whole
hunters, bird watchers, campers,
recreation.
OHV users, everything. We try to keep everything open for everybody. So we have a website called azaccessmap.com.
azaccessmap.com.
You log in and it shows all the areas that we have opened up through access, whether it's an easement or whether it's a whole ranch that we've worked with, whatever it is. I've been here 10 years. And what's been really interesting in my time is the ranching community, the ag community, and the game and fish haven't always seen eye to eye. Mm-hmm. And what I've been trying to focus on is the ethical values behind each. Hunter heritage, well, ranchers have the same thing. They're very interested in keeping ranching alive.
Right.
And ranching.
They don't want subdivision.
Right, and guess what? It all falls down to the land. We want good land for habitat, they want good land for their business, their livelihood. And we've found ways to work together to keep habitat wildlife populations high and keep ranchers in business.
Throughout this hunt, one of the things that was interesting is I was seeing some javelina, and I had a javelina tag in my pocket. And I will admit that most any time I've tried a combination hunt, whether it's a deer elk combo hunt, an antelope deer combo hunt, I do a crappy job at all of it. And if there's one thing that distracted me on this hunt, it was these little javelina. They always like to root around underneath these oak trees. And you look at them and you're like, well, this is gonna be easy.
So here's the plan. Those pigs are bedded over there. We're gonna try and close the distance as much as we can while they're bedded. And there's a steep canyon we'd have to cross. And we'd lose all of our shooting lanes, and we're gonna get right to the edge of that canyon and hope they come back and run around down in the bottom like they were before they bedded. And maybe we'll have a 25, 30-yard shot. We'll see.
Leupold's Fresh Tracks with Randy Newberg is brought to you by Howa Precision Rifles and Barreled Actions, Nosler. When your tag is drawn, make it count. Load Nosler up front. Sitka, specialized outdoor wear and equipment. Bowtech, refuse to follow. Arizona Game and Fish. And by Hunt by Onyx Maps, land ownership hunting maps.
I'm thinking to myself, there is no way these javelina are getting out of here. I'm gonna get across and see see what they do. Out on that hillside, I'm gonna have a way sturdier wind. Right here, I got 1, 2, 3, pretty much 4 drainages come together. And that's why they bedded there. So there's 5 or 6 of them that headed out. I think they're all gone. I'm gonna go across. I'll be able to see them on this hillside, I think. And I keep moving. They get up, look around, do like the other ones did. Oh, yeah, I think I'll follow the other ones. I have no idea what happened. I just walked out of there. And I have to say, being outwitted by a javelina, I don't know why, I just felt like, man, that's humiliating. That is a son of a gun to try to figure out what to do when you have that wind. I mean, if we had a north wind to go along with the thermals coming up, it'd be great. But they probably wouldn't bed here. There's a reason why they bed where they do. They know what the gig is. Dang it. I've been following this buck. We're staying like 200, 250 yards away from him while he's rutting his doe. Really a nice buck. He's a 4-point, just barely a 4 out on one side. And he's pushed his doe right up next to the county road here. Crazy. I mean, they're 40 yards from the county road. 3 motorcycles just drove by. Didn't even face them. Needless to say, the rut is on with this guy. So I don't even know if I want to tell you what happened yesterday. But I'm going to. What kind of mature whitetail buck is going to stand there next to a county road and be a fool like this? Well, this one is. The wind is blowing in our face really strong. I'm like, you know what? I am going to sneak down to that tree where I saw them. And if they are there, I'm going to see them and I'm going to get a shot. Or they're gone. They got through that little cut. And it takes us about an hour. And now I look and I'm 35 yards from this tree they were standing under. And that's the last piece of vegetation between the whole hillside out in front of me. And I'm just glassing. Like, they gotta be there. They're not there. And there's this little smaller oak scrubby bush about 4 or 5 feet tall off to the left, and it's pretty sparse. And I'm looking through there, I'm glassing. I'm like, gotta be there. No, not there. As I turn to Marcus, I whisper, I'm like, they must have left. And I look some more, can't see anything. Finally, I thought, well, I better tell the audience what happened or they're gonna think I'm an idiot just dragging them along the countryside. So I turn to the camera and I start talking in this full voice. What happened is they crossed the road. They're standing in the wash down there. And she's feeding like she's gonna bed down. Well, there you have it, folks. I'd seen them here. They were bedded right in that shade at 30 yards. I was sure I could see everything. I was absolutely sure I could see everything from right here. And there's a little bush down there that's about this tall. And they came right out of that bush as I was talking to the camera. If I would have stepped forward to about right here. That is like the most rookie mistake. When your instincts tell you that they are here, God! What do you do? I screwed it up. I fumbled. I say what you want. Call it whatever you want. It was the dumbest thing I've done this entire season. I have not done anything even close to that this entire filming season, as far as on the level of stupidity. But here it is for all you to see. But what it illustrates is that Arizona is a very target-rich environment. If you go out there and you glass, you are going to get a stock every morning and probably every afternoon. And hopefully you're better at it than I am, because I'm proving to you that I got a ways to go when it comes to this spot and stock Coues whitetail. But I'm coming back next year. I can assure you I am coming back here every year. And I'm going to get one of those things spot and stock. I am not going to, I'm not going to force my mind to do something it's not capable of. And that would be sitting water. And I'll accept the fact that I'm going to have a whole lot of bad outcomes. But the time I am successful, and I don't care if it's just a little forkies, someday I'm going to get one. And when I do, you're going to hear me hooting and yelling from Mexico to Canada.